Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Salma Kazi Wahab with another edition of Along the Path. Today on the show, we're right here at Islamic Guidance in the heart of Overport, Durban. We're going to chat to the wonderful Haneem Davis all about herself, her life, what makes her want to do this type of work. We're going to find out what Islamic Guidance does. We're going to find out how to pack a Ramadan hamper and how the girls get to shop their own garments for Eid. So much to talk about. Let's go into Islamic Guidance in Overport, Durban.
لا تحسب أن الدين بعيد عن حب وحياة وبهجرك للدين ستحيا تعشق ما قلبك.
Today with me is Haneem Davis, the chairperson of the Islamic Guidance Trust. So wonderful to have you here with me, and thank you for having me in your space as well. So wonderful to be here.
Walaikum salam. Shukran, Salma. Shukran for indulging me and coming into this space. I'm so glad to have you here, and I'm so glad to be able to share with you today.
It's lovely to be here, but I wanted to know, somebody with your personality, your nature, your zest for life, but what makes you choose to want to do work like this or be in an environment like this? How does it make you feel?
So I think for me, Islamic guidance speaks to my why. It always has spoken to my why. It's just as you got older, you understood that, it's a big part of my purpose. I think we know from an Islamic perspective that our life's purpose is to worship our Rabb. And so for me, this gives me the opportunity to do that in terms of fulfilling one of the key pillars of Islam, helping the needy, supporting from a zakat perspective, etc. So I get to play in that space, which is for me a huge ni'mah, being a professional outside of here, but being able to do this in my spare time, in my free time, on my weekends, makes a huge difference to me and sort of completes me, I think.
I love that you mentioned that, the completion of yourself, because I think sometimes people begin to assume that that's the only role that you have, or that's the only thing that you do during the day. We moms, you're a boy mom, you're a wife, you've got your friends, you've got an amazing social life. And I think that also contributes to a more healthier existence. And in this wonderful time of Ramadan, when we dedicate so much time to our ibadah and so much of worship, but it's important to actually have a wholesome life, a meaningful life, a fulfilling one. It makes you more productive also, right?
100%. And I think, for me, when you look at it from a Ramadan perspective and speaking to my role, and as you say, speaking to that completeness, we all know that come Ramadan, we ramp up. So the ibadah ramps up. So if you were reading one juz a month, you get into Ramadan and you're doing a juz a day. If you were reading, not doing your nafil salah, Ramadan comes in and you ka-chinging, right? You're cashing in on those things. But I think the one thing for me when it comes to Islamic guidance is the component of zakah. And we know that, 2.5% is fard. Everybody has to do that if you are able to, of course, if you're able to afford to. But what I love about the work that we do here is that we create opportunities for people to give more. So when you're talking about ramping up from a giving perspective in terms of zakat, etc., here I create events and we create, opportunities for the community who maybe don't have the time, just like I don't have the time, to come in and say, I want to do more in Ramadan and what can I do? And so that kind of strategic thinking happens with myself and my team, and that really makes Ramadan special for me.
How does your family take to that? Like, it's very much a part of who you are, and they probably know it for so many years that this is what mom does. But how important is that, the family support structure in what you do?
So, yeah, if I think about it, my boys grew up here. I've been a part of Islamic Guidance since I was 9 years old, and then became the chairperson in 2014 when Auntie Gay passed. So, and I've always been involved in it. I think when Danielle was little, we did mums and tots early Saturday morning, and he was here on a Saturday. I think I had given birth to Dayan, and 3 weeks later, Auntie Gay decided to make me the guest of honor for our Jalsa. So it's a part of who they are, and they know that it's a part of a huge part of me. I think, for me, Islamic Guidance being here with our girls, with the team, with the female trustees that we are very close with, they are my energy peeps. So a lot of life outside of IG can be drainers. Work will drain you, life will drain you, cooking will drain you. But what I do is gravitate towards this space to get that energy boost. And so I think my family, even my husband knows, let her go to IG on a Saturday and let her get an energy boost. When she comes back, she's happier, and, you know, I'm able to fill that cup and give again.
I love that. That is so amazing. And I hope everybody finds that space that they're able to get that sort of energy. And I love that your husband acknowledges that also. He knows, let her go. Yes. She needs this. But you mentioned this Auntie Gay, and I was fortunate enough to meet her a few times many, many years ago. Tell us a little bit about her and some of your inspiration or motivations or maybe your role models in this whole field.
So I think for me, one of the things, and I spoke about it to a group of younger women recently, is that I'm a very proud Gen Xer, and I'll say it loud and proud. And what happened was, Salma, so my mother, my backstory, everybody's got a backstory. My backstory to IG was that my mom had reverted. My mom had reverted when she married my dad, and then started classes with, Auntie Gay had started classes at her flat for revert Muslim women, and my mom was one of her first students. And so that's, over, almost 50 years ago, I think. And Auntie Gay became that Muslim grandmother. Wow. You know, because mom didn't obviously have one. And so she played a fundamental role in me and shaping me and my identity. And I think around her, I mean, when I was reflecting on it, we had women that, just like me and you, have jobs, have families and things like that they need to support, and at the same time were coming to Islamic Guidance for classes. There was no listen to a podcast on your way to work. There was no Umar Suleiman to delve into for those ladies. They had to physically be here, and they made the time to be here. So I think that for me has always shaped me, because you make the time for the things that are important for you, and so that created a huge part of my identity. Auntie Gay was, there's so much that I've taken away from her, and still up to today will say, that was something Auntie Gay did, and something that I want to carry forward in my life.
And it's so important to hold true to that, to those people that impacted you that way. And that's the best way forward, and to honor their legacy as well. And to see the way you walk through these walls today, I'm sure she'd be looking very proud at you as well, inshallah. If you had to say, what would your vision or your plan be from this Ramadan or to the Ramadans of the future? What would you want to do differently?
So I do something at work, and we call it a retro. It's something that when you've gone in and you've done a project, you go back and you sit at the end of it and you say, what worked well, what didn't work well, what do I want to do better? And I think it's something that I brought back into the organization, of constantly evaluating and assessing how well we're doing, and how we need to do things differently to make it better. So I think for me, from an Islamic Guidance perspective and my work that I do here, it's always about how we shift and shape and evolve. Auntie Gay was very, very big on continuity. She was quite a visionary, if you knew her well enough. And so for me, it's about putting this organization forward way before we hit things like AI and things like that, and working towards how we build this organization, not for me to be here in another 60 years, because I'm not, but for what will happen to IG in another 50, 60 years. So a lot of energy goes into thinking about future planning and building up the girls in our organization to value this enough to want to carry it forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. So exciting. Well, we're so excited to be here with you today. And I know you've got a lot to show us as well. So I look forward to that with you. We're going to explore Islamic Guidance a little bit more, see what they do during Ramadan, what they're involved with. Remember, the greatest charity is that's done during the month of Ramadan. So as we start this month, let's prepare ourselves, let's gear ourselves up, not just with the recipes, but let's also see what we need to do, who we need to visit, who we need to see, who we need to think of, who we need to consider. It may be your next door neighbor. It may just be an old, long lost family member. Whoever it may be, let's see what we can do to help the community around us. So let's get going. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, Sadaqah washes away your sins like water extinguishes fire. And that's exactly why we're here. We're finding out more about what we could do, what we could give to actually wash away all those sins we've accumulated over the years. And one of the initiatives that I've known for the longest time that originated right here in the walls of Islamic Guidance is this. Standing behind me, all these beautiful garments. And they have somewhat of a concept like your very own shop for the less privileged, where these girls can come in and choose garments that they love and they're choosing themselves with full dignity. Sister Haneem, tell us about this wonderful concept, the history behind it, and just how does it work?
Shukran, Salma. So it was something I saw on the socials many, many years ago, where I think it was one of the Icelandic countries, where they were created shops in parks and allowed the poor, the homeless, to come in and actually choose what they wanted to take. And I thought that was so profound. You know, we just give and expect the poor to take. But what we do now at Islamic Guidance is we started with the Eid store, and it's become massive. Alhamdulillah. I think we're going into our 5th year of the formal Eid store. What we do is we ask the community to bring in gently used, preferably new, clothing into the organization across the board, so women's clothing, men's, etc. And we create a store. One of our trustees is in the clothing industry, and he brings in all of these rails. And believe it or not, these halls turn into a shopping mall. And what happens is some of us, the volunteers, some of our donors, etc., all come in and we play shop assistant for the day. So we allow our students to come in and we say, oh, what size are you? What color do you like? Do you like dresses or skirts, etc.? And we walk them through the Eid store, and the delight is amazing. You know, the fact that they get to choose, and the eyes and the colors, and the girls walk away with bags full of clothing and shoes, scarves and accessories. And alhamdulillah, it's been really successful. It's a lot of work, but I think one of the lessons we've learned is to start the collections earlier so that our staff get an opportunity to sort before we open Eid store.
Wonderful, thank you. Now, I do know we're going to go into something else that's very exciting. We're going to go now and pack something else, which is synonymous with Ramadan, and that's your Ramadan hampers. So I'm looking forward to learning more as to what needs to go in those hampers, what we need to be mindful of when packing those hampers. So come along and teach me how to do it. Wonderful. So here's where all the action really happens. And this we always see every Ramadan, hampers being distributed. But there's a lot of thought that actually should go into this. How should we consider what we're putting into the hampers? Or what are the requirements? Or what do you look at when you're putting together a hamper?
Sure. So we did a survey with our students a couple of years ago where we wanted to understand what they actually ate during Ramadan for suhoor, and what they ate at iftar time, etc. And we know that the girls, our families that we support, Salma, this hamper that they get on a weekly basis, and the Ramadan hamper, forms 60 to 70% of their actual meals at home. I mean, we've gone into homes where there were cupboards bare. Auntie Gay tells of a story where she went where a mother was burning sugar in a pan with some water, and then offering it to her children and saying, here's your coffee, because that was all that they had at that time. And so the hamper, you'll see, has obviously the basics that come in the hampers, the milks, the oils, etc. But what we try to do, Salma, is also bring in elements, you know, as we know from hadith, what like for your brother, what you like for yourself, you know. And so you'll see items like biscuits and juices, jellies and custards that go in as well, that try to make it a bit more special for the girls who are also fasting and for their families. So, yeah, and then the chili bite mix. Yes, our girls love chili bite mix and love samosas as well. So, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this now, because we know care packages are very important in most of the communities. And how important is something as simple as this, that this type of pack, how valuable is something like this?
This is critical. So the toiletry hamper is actually given to the girl throughout the year. Obviously, sanitary towels, we know that those are items that the poor cannot have access to due to the cost. So within that is items that the girl uses and her family uses, you know, and then as well we've added things like detergents and things like that. We have a white uniform which is quite symbolic for IG, and we know that that uniform needs to be washed. Where do poor people, where do the, sorry.
It's okay, keep going.
Oh, okay, he'll cut it. Okay. So we know that our IG girls use the white uniform, and over the years, we just assumed that the poor could afford to buy detergents, etc. But we've learned now to put in detergents, put in the laundry soap, etc. So those uniforms can get washed, those school uniforms can get washed, and they can do the necessary things that they need to do.
Absolutely. Now, at this amazing time of year with Ramadan, we know people are looking for ways to earn that blessings and so up. So if people want to actually get involved with this, maybe contribute towards your hampers, or maybe just come, like you said, and be a part of it, help pack the hampers, or help with the distribution, is that possible? Or how can the community get involved?
So Salma, yeah, like I said earlier, creating opportunities for donors and for the ordinary person to come in is something that I'm very passionate about, because I know we all have busy lives. So you can come in, and you can come in with your family. We've had families come with their children, etc., and come in and distribute the hampers, so actually physically hand it out to the girls before they leave on a Saturday morning. We've had families come in with envelopes to do EDs, which has really been wonderful. And yeah, I mean, you can give of cash, of course, because and do EFTs, etc., of your zakat, your kafara, all of those things to Islamic guidance. But you can, yeah, if you just feel like bringing in boxes of milk, come in and bring it in and talk to our receptionist, or come and find me, and we will facilitate this for you so that you have an opportunity to up your game and give more to the needy during Ramadan.
Absolutely, reap all those rewards. Indeed, that's what we want to do. And before I get started in packing my hamper, make sure that you consider what your activities are during Ramadan. As much and as important as that kitchen may be, and our tummies, we need to consider maybe your neighbor, a family member, or whoever it may be. They may need something a little bit more. So this is your chance. We know the best charity is the charity that's given during the month of Ramadan. So at the start of this amazing month, we hope that you keep that in mind. You consider places like Islamic Guidance to visit, be it donating an outfit, some garments, or just some items, whatever it may be, but consider your actions during the month of Ramadan and what you're spending your time actually doing. So we wish you a joyous Ramadan, a prosperous one, where you reap all the blessings and sawab that the world has to offer you, inshallah, that Allah has given you the chance to gain as much sawab as possible during this month. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.